Pagonis going to work halfway through, has half a body length lead, and I'm not sure he's going to track her down right now, the way she swam this morning.
Nobody wanted to train the blind girl. Nobody had faith in me.
It is Anastasia Pagonis, Team USA, as she comes to the line, and it will be a gold medal and a world record.
As for Paralympics, parallel to the Olympics, we have to fight for every single spot, and we have to grind just as much as Olympians, and I think that's really important to recognize and see.
Today, we are speaking with three-time world champion U.S. paraswimmer Anastasia Pagonis. I'm so pumped for you to hear this conversation because Anastasia is such an incredible role model, a leader, a champion for diversity, equity, inclusion, and is literally changing how people see the visually impaired. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Anastasia Pagonis. I'm a Paralympic swimmer for the USA.
How did you get into swimming?
I got into swimming because my doctor recommended I need to try a less contact sport because I was originally playing soccer, and once I got in the pool, I feel like I just became a mermaid and fell in love with it.
When did you actually switch from soccer to swimming?
Yeah, so I switched at age 11 or 12. Soccer wasn't going well for me. And then once I got in the pool, I loved it, and it was something where I felt free and one place where my disability didn't hold me back.
Anastasia, we've been in touch for a while. For those who are just meeting you, can you share about your disability?
Yes, so I am blind. I am in S11 classification, which is the most severe in paraswimming. In that classification, we all wear completely blacked out goggles to even the playing field. I was diagnosed with a genetic disease and autoimmune retinopathy. So basically, my immune system attacks my retina, and here we are.
Can you tell us how it is to live with that type of disability?
Yeah, definitely. So with my disability, I am basically need assistance for most things. So to walk around, I usually use a sighted guide or a cane or my guide dog Radar, who is
Radar.
Yes, you guys will have to. Just the sweetest boy ever. And as for the pool and training, I use something called tappers, which is a pole with a pool noodle on the end of it. And two people who are trained will stand on basically each side of the pool and give me a little tap on the head. And that's how I know I'm coming up to the wall. And then I'll do my flip turn and keep going.
It's so impressive, Anastasia. And I know a big part of what you do beyond swimming is changing how people, quote unquote, see the visually impaired, which is the best tagline ever. Tell us about this. So why is this important, and what specifically are you doing?
Yeah, so I started on social media to break down the stereotypes that people have on people with disabilities, specifically the visually impaired people. I think that the world views us very differently. If you ask someone on the street, what does blind, quote, look like, they would say something of what Hollywood portrays it to look like, which is walking like a zombie with their cane and dark sunglasses, which isn't the case. That's what I'm kind of trying to show people, that no, I don't have to be in this box that you put me in. I can be a professional athlete. I can dress cute. I can do my own makeup. I can do all of those things, and kind of breaking that down and showing them that, hey, this is possible and this is what blind looks like.
Anastasia, you mentioned briefly the stereotype of the man with the massive glasses and the cane. What are some of the other stereotypes that you are specifically trying to debunk?
That your eyes have to look a certain way. There are a lot of blind people whose eyes do look different. Some of them could be fogged over. Some of them have cataracts. But that is not a very large percentage of the blind community. My blindness is in my retina, which you would not be able to see unless you had a very, very special camera taking the pictures, because it is between my eyeball and my brain. And that's just not something that anyone on the daily basis would be able to see. So I think that trying to debunk is that blindness doesn't look a certain way. You couldn't look at someone on the streets and know if they were blind. Also, another stereotype is that the word blindness means that you see absolutely nothing. Actually, I think it's less than 9% of the blind community sees nothing, which is absolutely crazy that people compare us to the 9% of the people that see complete nothingness. A lot of people who are in the blind community can see some sort of hand motions, shapes, shadows, light perception. There's a lot of different things that people who are blind can see, and it's crazy that we're kind of put in this box where, like, no, like, you're not allowed to see anything.
What is the biggest hurdle that you might face on a daily basis?
I definitely would say I struggle with independence a lot. As someone with a disability, it's very hard to have independence, and I try to in every way possible. And I also struggle with, like, a lot of anxiety and depression. Mental health is a huge thing, especially in athletes, and I'm so glad that, like, it's finally coming to the surface and, like, people are finally understanding and taking mental health seriously. I think it has still some more work to be done, but I'm really happy with how it's going far.
When you talk about independence, I'm sure this is something that a lot of athletes, and specifically athletes with disabilities, struggle with. So if I'm an athlete who is struggling with independence myself, what advice would you give to me?
I think that you have to, honestly, it's so different for each person. I know for me, doing the little things is something that makes me feel independent. Like, if I'm at the pool, no, I can't go to the pool and swim by myself. I can't get myself to the pool, but I can put my cap on, right? Like, there are certain things that I am capable of doing by myself, and those are the things that I'm trying to remind myself, like, oh, I can do this. And then I think it's also very, like, humbling and brings you back to earth to think about, like, the other people that are in Paralympics. Like, I'm so blessed to be here, and, like, I'm so blessed to be able to swimming with all of my limbs. Like, I'm so blessed to be able to even be in a pool right now. Like, some people don't even have the privilege and the opportunity to step foot into a pool ever. And, like, I'm blessed to be doing this every single day. So, yeah.
What do you want to say to the Olympians or people from May's community who are listening in, who are like, wow, this is really cool. I've never heard this perspective before.
Yeah, I think what I would share is that the Paralympics is not less than, or is not the, quote, people think that para stands for paralyzed or, like, paraplegic or some sort of, like, less than. It actually stands for parallel, which is really interesting. It's parallel to the Olympics, and that's what Paralympics is for. And it's not something, I think the Special Olympics are amazing, and it gives people just the voice and the opportunity to play sports that they love and learn how to play sports. And I think that that's so amazing. But as for Paralympics, parallel to the Olympics, we have to fight for every single spot, and we have to grind just as much as Olympians. And I think that's really important to recognize and see.
So I know, Anastasia, this has been a really challenging year for you. You briefly mentioned mental health. We definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah, mental and physical health has been something that's been very hard the past year. In the end of 2022, I had a very bad concussion, which was really hard, and I was out of the pool for a while for that. And then in the middle of 2023, in June, I had major shoulder surgery, which was very hard and obviously took a big toll on my physical, but also my mental health, because I'm like, oh, that's great. I have to compete in a year at, like, the biggest stage of all time. So that was definitely something that was really, really stressful and very overwhelmed. And I'm still kind of learning the process of, like, not beating myself up, you know, like, not having to, I don't know, fall under pressure in a way. And, like, obviously there's the pressure of, like, being a world record holder and being a gold medalist, but, like, I have to understand that, okay, I just had this major shoulder surgery. I was out for however many months. I just got back in the pool in January. Like, I need to take it easy on myself in a way.
Yeah. So patch us in terms of what are your hopes for the future?
I'm so excited. I have, like, a lot of amazing partnerships going into the which I'm so thankful for, and like so excited to be working hands-on with like brands that I truly love and like feel an organic relationship with. So that's super exciting. And going into the Paralympics, you know, I'm taking the pressure off myself, but at the same time, we're like, you know, deep down have the pressure on ourselves. My goal is to hopefully make the podium in all of the events that I'm swimming, which is a lot of pressure. But I will be happy with even making it there. But that's like the big picture goal.
Anastasia, you talked about pressure and the pressure you're feeling. So what is your thought process, or tell us how you kind of combat that?
I do well under pressure. I mean, I do. It's something, you know, a lot of athletes do. I'm sure you did as well. Like, the pressure almost kind of like drives you and motivates you more. But at the same time, there's a point where it can be a breaking point. And for me, I try to focus on all of the things that I know I have done and all of the work I know I have put into this, and go into it with no second thoughts. Like, when I'm sitting and about to like dive off that block, I want to know that like I put everything that I personally could put into the training and the work that got me here. Like, confidently be able to say that I worked my ass off to be here, and that whatever happens, I'm leaving it in the pool. And that's something that is obviously super hard, especially from the pressure from the world and like family and friends. And obviously I think everyone will be super proud of me no matter how it goes, but like, you want to
I know you've done quite a bit of work specifically around like supporting women and supporting girls in sport. Talk to us about that and why you think, what opportunities we have as women athletes to support each other.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like women need to come together because we're badasses. Like, we're amazing and we're unstoppable. And I think that it is even more powerful when we come together and we all work towards that, because listen, being alone and not being an ally makes it a lot harder to get the things that we need done versus if we all come together and do it. And I think that there's so much movement in like women in sports and like all of these things and equal pay and all of that. And I think coming up, and it's, you know, it's making its way to the surface, but I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done. And I think if we all come together, we can definitely make it happen.
Before we wrap up, what do you want to say to all of your fellow women who are going to hopefully see you in Paris this summer?
Hi. Thank you guys so much for your support. I think that women are so powerful and we can accomplish so much more than what people think we can. And just show the world who you are, because you are beautiful and perfect.
Thanks for tuning into Flame Bearers.
If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us along on social media for more behind-the-scenes exclusive content on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever social platform you are on. Thank you, and stay tuned for our upcoming episode.